The X3 just got a firmware update that gives us some new features and settings. This is version 1.0.21. If you saw my previous video in which I tested the earlier version 1.0.20 and found some bugs, I've taken that down. You can just ignore it because the version I had was still in beta and was not intended for public release. So that's a whoops on my part. In 1.0.21, those bugs are gone, and while I've only been using it for a day, I haven't found any problems so far. In this version, true to their promise, we've now been given pre-recording, which when enabled, will capture the 15 or 30 seconds of time from before the record button is pressed. This is useful for when you're waiting for something to happen and you want to make sure you don't miss it. I went for a 45-minute bike ride with pre-record turned on just to see how hard it would hurt the battery life, and when I got home, I'd only lost about 20%. Then we have some new frame rates for 4K 360. We now have 24, 25, 30, 50 and 60 frames per second. And we also have a new 3K 100 frames per second slow-mo mode. Right now I don't have good weather, so anything I've shot recently looks a bit sad, but here are some examples of those new settings anyway, just so you can get the gist. And lastly, Me mode can now do 48, 50 and 60 frames per second, so you can get a nice little bit of slow-mo action in your selfie shots. So that's pretty much it. I'm glad to have these new frame rates, and the pre-record works really well. Everything seems stable so far, and the touchscreen works as it should. I'll leave a link below to the correct firmware. I find it faster and easier just to download the file from there and drag it onto the camera, rather than doing it through the app. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.